Have you ever read something and when you come to the end of it, you could not remember what you just read? That happens to first language speakers all the time. It does not mean you didn't understand. It means you were being a passive reader and therefore you did not retain the information. You simply just read the words. What do you do when you have something to read? Most students begin their reading by opening up the text and beginning reading. This often leads to passive reading. But to be more successful in reading, you need to become an active reader. So how can I do that, you may be asking? Well, similar to how we are learning successful essays are written when the writing process is followed, successful readers also need to follow a process. This is especially important when the topic is difficult or not interesting to you. You will need to work harder to keep involved in the reading. The 3 steps in the process are pre-reading, reading, and post-reading. Pre-reading. Before reading the text, think to yourself, what do I already know about this topic? And what do I want to know? It is a good idea to write down some notes. First, what you already know about the topic, and secondly, and more importantly, some questions you have about the topic. Writing what you know and writing some pre-reading questions will help you get engaged in what you are reading. Use the 5 W's and 1 H, who, what, where, when, why, and how, to help you make questions before you even start the text. To help you form your questions, you can employ some pre-reading skills. First, look at the title. Titles are a wealth of information. They give us many clues about what we will read or provides us a great opportunity to ask pre-reading questions. What does it tell you about what you are going to read? Is it straightforward or is it being ironic? Is it a play on words? Example, if the article is about children not wanting to eat their beans, the title may be playing on Shakespeare's to be or not to be with to bean or not to bean. So if we look at the title in the example, U of R School of Choice for High Number of International Grad Students. What questions could you make from this title? For example, what does School of Choice mean? Why are many international students enrolling at U of R? What makes the grad program special? What majors are they taking? What nationalities are choosing U of R? Already, we are engaged as readers. We want to find out the answers to our questions. Next, you can look at visual clues. There are other visual clues you can look at to help you keep engaged. Look at any photos or graphs or charts. What information do they provide? In the example, we see 2 international students from different countries who are in the U of R grad program. It shows what they are studying as well. This particular article does not have any subheadings or subtitles, but in other articles, subheadings and subtitles give lots of information about the article topic. You should also look at author. Looking into the author is something many readers overlook. By researching the author, we can discover if they may have a bias, what their area of expertise is, and generally, we can then decide if this person is a credible source. Let's look at the example article. This article does not provide a biography of the author, but we can search him on the University of Regina website and in a general internet search. In addition, if the author uses sources, we can search them as well. So after we look at the title, visuals, and the author, we can form some questions. In the example article, we may have questions like, why are many international students choosing U of R for grad studies? How many and from what countries? What makes the programs desirable? What majors are the students taking? How is the U of R attracting students? The purpose of these questions is to keep your mind engaged in the reading. They should be answered by the time you finish reading the article. Reading. Now that the groundwork has been done, it's time to start reading the article. It is recommended you read a text at least twice. The first time you should read the text as a whole. That means do not stop to look up unknown vocabulary and do not take notes. The first reading is for you to get the main idea and to understand the whole text. If you keep stopping to look up vocabulary or to take notes, then you risk forgetting what you have already read and it breaks up your understanding. During the second reading is where you should take notes. Taking notes forces you to interact with the reading, not just passively read it. This will ensure you will comprehend more of the text. International students often underline important vocabulary, which is great, but you have to ensure you are asking questions and writing comments as well. Vocabulary alone will not make you understand the text. While you read, it is important to be active, not passive. Continue to ask questions and write comments as you read. Use the margins of the article to write notes. This is called annotating your text, and it is an essential skill for post-secondary students. Follow along as the example is annotated for you. Feel free to add your own annotation and notes to your copy. Like pre-reading, this step is often skipped. It is important to summarize and evaluate what you've read. When you summarize, you are writing down what the article was about. You're reporting the details. You're answering the who, what, where, when, and how. When you evaluate, you're answering the why and the how. This is key to showing you understand the article. You aren't just reporting what happened, but showing you understand why it is important and what was the purpose of the article. Some questions you should consider are, what is the author's bias? Is the article logical? What is the purpose of this article? Did the author fulfill the purpose? Who is the audience? How does this relate to what I'm studying? Do I agree or disagree, and why? You can also go back to your pre-reading questions and see if they were answered. If not, then that's when you need to ask your professor or do some further research. If we look at the example article, we can see that some of our questions were answered, but maybe not in the detail we would like. Some further research is needed. To sum up, when reading, you need to be active. Before you read, ask yourself what you know, what do you want to know, and predict what will be in the reading. When reading the first time, read the whole text without stopping. The second time you read, you need to take notes. When you're finished reading, you still have some work to do. You need to evaluate what you read and how it relates to your study. Following these steps takes some time, but it will help you understand your reading text more fully and focus your studying.